Greetings, little brother. I shall soon be off to depart on my venture to find 5 people to say wiggle little 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 open 5 times fast. I do believe Jessie will be joining me because she wishes to be in a vlog, and it'll be funnier this way. I feel like your request to say it 5 times fast might be a little much, seeing as how I had difficulty saying it 3 times fast, because wiggle little 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 open, 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 wiggle little 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 open is kind of hard to say. Wow! How did I do that? Maybe 5 times fast isn't too bad. It'll be funny watching them try. Irish wristwatches is always really fun to say, because if you can say it, other people are like, oh, that's not hard to say, then they say it, and it's like, Irish wristwatches. And then it's just funny because they freak out because they're like, why can't I say it? I'm actually quite surprised I can do tongue twisters at all, because I stumble over my words a lot. You don't know how many times I've cut out clips because I stumble over my words during these vlogs. I'm not an articulate human. I've also noticed that if I use the word articulate or articulate, I have to articulate it, because I feel like if you say articulate and you don't articulate it, it's just generally contradictory if you don't articulate. Articulate, articulate. I shall soon be off on my venture. You will in fact find at least 5 people I don't know saying wiggle little 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 open 5 times fast.
Wiggle little 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 open, wiggle little 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 open, wiggle little little open, wiggle little. How many times?
5, one more.
Wiggle little open. Little open.
Wiggle little it'll open. Wiggle little it'll open. Wiggle little open. What?
We'll try again.
It'll open. Wiggle little 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 it'll open.
Woo!
Go.
Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little.
That's not
it'll open.
fast.
Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Bro,
Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Wiggle it a little open, wiggle it a little open, wiggle it a little open.
I think you're missing a few words.
Wiggle it a little open, wiggle it a little open, wiggle it a little open, wiggle it a little open,
Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Wiggle it a little open.
How much would you
That's not what the paper says.
I can do that one though.
Okay, try one more time.
Wiggle it a little open, 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 wiggle it a little open. That's 5 times.
That was close enough.
Wiggle it, wiggle it a little, it'll open. 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 Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
All right, good.
Fantastic.
All right,
Your turn.
Okay. Wiggle it a little, it'll open. 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 Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Most impressive.
All right.
Wiggle it a little open.
Wiggle it a little, it'll open.
Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little, it'll open. Wiggle it a little open. Wiggle it a little open. Wiggle it a little open.
Wiggle a little open. Wiggle a little open. Wiggle a little open. Wiggle a little open. Wiggle a little open.
That's such an awesome tongue twister. Did your friend Human make that up, or did she find that somewhere? Because if she made it up, serious props to her. I will see you next week, Connor.